Let's move on now to the final main topic today. Talking a little bit of Godzilla. And we're going to get things going here with Eyes Willy, who writes, "Can't even start to tell you how excited I've been to see the new Godzilla movie. Trailers have been awesome. So you can guess how disappointed I was to see that the critic ratings have come out. What the hell? I thought it was supposed to be great. What's the disconnect between the early reactions that people saw and the critic scores we're seeing now? Because after all, aren't they the same people?" All right, very good question there, Eyes Willy. And yes, we have been raving here about, very excited. The trailers have been fantastic. Ever since the first trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters that they dropped at Comic-Con last year, we have all been buzzing. Then they had an early press screening. A bunch of people saw it and they let people put up their early reactions. And all the early reactions look quite positive and quite great. A lot of the critics saw it and all that kind of stuff, said they really liked it. Well, apparently only the critics that liked it put up social media thoughts, because now the official Rotten Tomatoes rating has now come out. The review embargo is lifted. And as of this recording, Godzilla King of the Monsters is holding a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, understand, that still means that a majority, although just a very small majority, a majority of the critics are liking the film. But even the ones that are liking it don't seem to be overwhelmingly enjoying it. Here's a little bit of a sample from Rotten Tomatoes about what some of the critics are saying. The Houston Chronicle says, "It's fitting that a film that is so unapologetically conventional and predictable, even by the standards of the genre, ends with the song Godzilla, a cover of Blue Oyster Cult track. As with so much of the movie, it has been done before and done better." The New York Times liked the film. They write, "It's rather beside the point to note plot goofiness in a Godzilla picture, but this one does push its luck now and then." Radio Times writes, "By rights, it should be great popcorn entertainment. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a lumbering mess." The Daily Telegraph in the UK writes, "The film could get away with this kind of silliness. Plenty of overscaled effects, showdowns, have in the past, if it only knew how to give us a good time." So, and again, let me be clear here, despite the ones that we just read here, 55%, that's a slight majority of the critics who are talking about this Godzilla movie are saying that they like the movie. So it's a small majority, but it's a majority nonetheless. Keep that in mind. Rob, I haven't seen Godzilla yet. I'm going to go see it tonight. And I'm excited about it. You know I'm excited about it. You have seen it. You love the film, but you've been telling me that although you love the film, you could see how it could end up being kind of divisive amongst people. Knowing that, are you surprised at seeing the responses we're seeing to it right now?
No, I'm actually not surprised at all, because I should come... If you're coming at these movies from what I would say is the proper perspective to come at these movies. I mean, look, I love the first Pacific Rim. I've loved kaiju movies my whole life. There is, and I've talked about this a lot, a certain whimsy inherent in the idea of giant monsters fighting other giant monsters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and it's sort of akin in my mind to pro wrestling. Like, if you love pro wrestling, like, I never liked pro wrestling growing up. I was not into it. I couldn't deal with, I thought, the goofiness of it and all that. But there's a lot of people that love it. Well, I sort of equate my love of these movies to people who love pro wrestling. You have to sort of put aside like, I would not judge this movie the way I judge The Godfather.
Right.
Or A Clockwork Orange, or The Shawshank Redemption. I judge this movie as far as how much I love giant monster movies and have my whole life, and how does it work within that context of that. And I love this because for the first time, it was an American director, Mike Dougherty, who grew up with these movies, who understands the inherent whimsy in a way in the whole concept, and puts everything in this movie I wanted to see in the 1998 Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie, and in the 2014 Gareth Edwards Godzilla movie. Evans or Edwards? Edwards. Yeah, the Gareth Edwards movie, which I didn't get. The 2014 in an American movie. There's this desire to make these movies. They have to be serious, and we have to make them grounded and down to earth. When they're never going to be totally serious. You can never make a Godzilla movie something like The Shawshank Redemption. You can't. It's about giant three-headed monsters and supersonic fire dragons and a giant moth, literally. That has her own theme song, sung by little princesses, which, by the way, if you look, there's a really great Easter egg that alludes to that in the movie. I'm third generation monarch. You know what I mean. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I got everything I wanted from this movie, and I thought, wow, here's a movie that really knows what it is. It's not a movie that's like, we know what giant monsters are, but you know what? We're going to make it more serious. It's just like Pacific Rim. Knew exactly what it was. Would I have liked to see those Chinese triplets fight longer instead of getting quickly defeated? Sure. But the rest of Pacific Rim, I loved it. I loved Godzilla King of the Monsters as well. I wish they would team up the Jaegers with Godzilla.
Now, would you say Godzilla King of the Monsters is more akin to Pacific Rim or Pacific Rim 2?
Pacific Rim.
That's good, because Pacific Rim 2 sucked.
I didn't like Pacific Rim 2. To be honest.
Not much.
I was hugely disappointed in Pacific Rim 2. But this movie, it was a hoot. I had so much fun. I mean, it was like I said, it was like going to see my first rock concert, which was Kiss on the Dynasty Tour in 1979. Full makeup, effects. This is the equivalent of going to see a Kiss concert when you're 12.
Well, I hope I enjoy it half as much as you did. I'm going to go see it tonight, guys. What do you think about all this? You're seeing the reviews coming out. You've heard Rob's response. What's your expectation like for Godzilla King of the Monsters? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think.